Hello you all, especially to the Houstonians and to the Brazilian community here in Houston. I have a very special video today with a very special guest. But before I invite the guest, let me tell a bit about why he's here today. And one piece of information, we will have this interview in English and then we'll do it in Portuguese. So if you want to skip directly to the Portuguese, I'll write down here in the description of this video where do you have to skip to listen to more or less the same information in Portuguese. So the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston and the MASP, the Museum of Art of São Paulo in Brazil, have organized an exhibition that explores the history and the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade. It's called Afro-Atlantic Histories. The exhibition premiered first at the Museum of Fine Arts of the Museum of Art in São Paulo, or MASP in São Paulo in Brazil, in 2018, and encompasses both fictional and non-fictional narratives of cultural, economic, personal, and political characters. Afro-Atlantic Histories unfolds through 6 thematic sections that explore a varied stories of the diaspora, the Black diaspora, and gathers more than 130 works of art and documents made in Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, the Americas, and about half of them are by Brazilian artists. So artists by 24 countries, especially Brazil. And it's amazing. I've been there 4 times already, and it's astonishing. I recommend you to attend it. It opened last October, on 24th of October, and it goes until January 2022. So I'll leave here at the description the links for the exhibition. So we decided, Museum of Fine Arts decided to put up this exhibition. It's originally from MASP, comes here, and from here it's going to the National Gallery in Washington. So the Museum of Fine Arts and the Brazilian General Consulate, the Consulate-General of Brazil here in Houston, we decided to present a film series inspired by the exhibition Afro-Atlantic Histories. And now I have to mention and thank 2 special people among many that made this initiative possible. Marion Luntz, she's the film and video curator at the Museum of Fine Arts, and Ashley Powell, the development officer, curatorial affairs at the museum. So thank you too. Without those 2 ladies, it would be impossible to put this exhibition together. And since November, we had 5 Brazilian, since November and until January, we have 5 Brazilian films, among classics and brand new ones. So we have 2 documentaries, Offerings of Faith, by a Brazilian professor and filmmaker, Elisa Herman, that lives here in Texas, and another documentary, Chico Rei Among Us, that will be presented in January. 2 classic films, Black Orpheus, a classic movie. It's a French, Italian, Brazilian production from the late 50s, but in a remastered version. So the images, the quality of the image is amazing. And Rio 40 Degrees, an exemplary of our Cinema Novo productions in Brazil. And Doutor Gama. And Doutor Gama is a 2001 Brazilian biographical film directed by Jefferson D. And it tells the story of a journalist, poet, and jurist, Luiz Gama. Luiz Gama was a Black abolitionist in Brazil, a Black abolitionist lawyer, and it's certainly one of the most important figures in the Brazilian history. He was born free, but was sold as a slave at the age of 10. And even as a slave man, he studied and managed to become literate and conquered his own freedom. And the film is starred by César Mello, Ângelo Fernandes, and Pedro Guilherme. Those 3 actors, they played Luiz Gama in different parts of life. And I have here with me the honor and the pleasure to have César Mello, who played Dr. Gama as an adult. He's an actor, singer, and composer. He acted in many Brazilian soap operas, and as well as in Brazilian versions of the Broadway shows Lion King, Wicked, and Sister Act. He has previous works in cinema, including Gloria and Grace by Flavio Tambelini. And you can also see him in Good Morning, Veronica, which is a series that's available here in the US by streaming. In music, he has 2 CDs, Ela é Afro e o Agora. Okay, so by talk too much, you're not here to listen to me, you're here to listen to César. So welcome, César. Thank you for your time. And well, your first words for the American audience.
Hi, it's very cool to be here. It's so amazing talk about this film because it's very important to me. This character and the film, the movie is very important. So, and I like it. I like to talk about it. It's good. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll ask him a question here, which will be very important on precisely that he just said. But anyways, let's start from the beginning. So about acting. So you played a character, that a historical character from the 19th century Brazil. So you had no register of, I mean, we know about his physical appearance. There are drawers but you don't have any register of his voice or mannerisms. So how does an actor work on that, on composing a character like that? I mean, he just have his picture, but no register of anything else. So you cannot compare to anything. So how did you do it?
Yes, first, I read the book. I read the book called With the Word Luis Gama by teacher Lígia Fonseca. And it was very important because when you read Luis Gama, there are so important things to consider, like he's very powerful, he's very strong, and Luis Gama was poet, great writer, journalist, and you can see these things and his words in his sentence, this quality. And so, and there is a flame there. There is fire in his words. So for me, is almost touchable. You almost can see his face because it's so powerful, his words. It's amazing. And so I read this book over and over in my home. I read many times because I thought that if I knew how he constructed his sentence in writing, I would know, or I could to know how construct my lines in my head. So to start was that, and I watched American movies also, like Hurricane with Denzel, because it's a Kurt movie, and Denzel is a actor who inspires me a lot, and the movie is about innocent men in jail also. So, and I watched real court cases on the internet to see how lawyers behave, and they are a little bit actors in court. So was great to see that. And it's summarize is about this. The book was very important. The book and the Gama's words was it was very important.
And I can tell the American audience that I'm listening now to César speaking, and I heard him singing, and I heard him in the book, in the movie. It's three different voices. It's an actor sing, of course, but it's amazing how you can do it with your, like, the way you speak. Congratulations. So I mean, were you aware of Luis Gama's importance in Brazilian history? Because sometimes there are people in history that we heard of, or we might have heard of the importance, but you don't know it precisely. And I listened to many people after the movie, Brazilians that lived here in Houston, saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know his story. I didn't know that he existed, or I didn't know. I knew that he existed, but I didn't know his personal life was so tragic in a way, and so brilliant in another way." So, were you aware of the importance of Luis Gama, or did you get surprised with the things of his biography?
Man, it's about this. I didn't hear about him. I didn't hear about him. And if you ask that same question here in Brazil, you know that the answer will be the same. Before the film, when I was kid at school, I didn't hear about him as a poet or lawyer, nothing. And when I was in college, and my course, letters, was about literature and Portuguese language. So, and Luis Gama was a great poet. He's considered one of the exponents of our romanticism in our literature. And he's made, for example, the first poem to a Black woman in our literature. So it's sad. It's sad because I didn't hear about him in college. I think Luis Gama was purposely erased, taken off from our history in Brazil. So if you ask me about what surprised me is about this, is exactly because he was born free, was made slave because his father sold him to pay off gambling debts. And this boy became a lawyer, great speaker, great father, husband, a black man who knew who he was and proud from his color. And you think, what the hell? Why I didn't hear about him? So that surprised me a lot. We called here Professor Lígia Fonseca told me that he was our Frederick Douglass, and is about one person very important in America. So it was about that. That surprised me a lot. How the Brazilian society tried erase this man.
Yeah, I'm graduated in history, and as a diplomat, of course, I heard about Luis Gama. But once you watch the movie, it's different. It's, you know, how deep and how it's a unpredictable victory in his life, because he was in a way, after he was sold, even as a free man, he was sold, and you wouldn't believe that he would do so many things in his life. So it's amazing. Yeah. So going on in this kind of, in this line of thought, we have, I think in Brazil, maybe perhaps I don't know, we don't have the tradition of having this amount of movies about historical characters. Of course, it's more expensive to shoot them because they're historical characters. You need a historical set and etc. But anyways, once we do it, you can put on the spotlight some people that otherwise wouldn't be known by the majority of people. So could you comment upon this importance of cinema on raising the awareness of historical facts and subjects?
Yes. First, like happened with Black Panthers, for example, or another films, it's the best way to know our heroes and our heroines. And what is very important is Dr. Gama is a movie about Black people, but also about the Brazilian history. And it's important to know about our history, Black or white people. And I think is very important. And how I said, Luis Gama is a complex, a subjective person. So he is a complex and a complex character too. And here in Brazil, we don't have so many characters with this quality for Black people. And Black people here are always portrayed as poor or employed or bad guys or seed of gods is an example. But so in this film, we have so many characters outside of the stereotypes of the Brazilian movies and Black people in the Brazilian movies. So that is amazing. And we need talk about our history with our way, with our eyes. Know what I mean? Is very important. And what's very important is this film this kind of film is important because happened with Dr. Gama is it makes us proud to be Black. I was in a couple of days ago, I was in a film festival here in Brazil, the city called Penedo, and the people watched Dr. Gama, and people says me a lot about this, how proud I am to be Black.
Which I think it comes to our next question is, what's the personal impact of the movie in you, your personal impact, and the professional repercussion after you played Luis Gama? So I guess you're starting to tell us about this personal repercussion. Once you played it, I mean, you feel, and by the way, for those who don't know, Penedo is a city in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is a former Finnish colony. So probably most of people there are blonde and white.
Yeah, man, this film, the character in my life, for example, is Gama is a person who talk about things that I would like to talk. For example, in the scene of the court scene when Gama is defending José, muito bom. José or José. So
in Brazil we say José.
José.
Yeah.
Yes. My heart was burning. The Caesar's heart was burning. So it's amazing because he talk about justice, equality. He talk about be a Black man. He was a slave, and he know how was terrible. So, and you talk these words is good to me. Be a face and a sound, a voice of such a person. It's amazing to me, and so I'm very happy, very, very happy. This film it's about work, but it's also about my life. So it's very important. It was a great experience.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear that, and I suppose when you can combine the professional pleasure and success with the personal interest and this burning heart that you mentioned, it's an idea. But so, César, thank you very much. I won't take much more of your time. I wish you all possible success, and hope to interview you for your next movie as well.
Yes, I hope to. And thanks, man. Thanks for this moment. I appreciate it.
People from Museum of Fine Arts and Brazilian community, please attend the exhibition and attend the film series, which is amazing. Bye-bye and see you soon.